Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited to recreate this painting from the Emily movie that I painted a few days ago using oil pastels and colored pencils. I've already sketched everything out on a rough paper. Actually, it's a watercolor paper from a brand called Watercolorist, but I think any rough paper would work just fine. To make things even more fun and helpful, I've also picked out all the colors that I'll be using and written down their names and numbers. That way, this can be a great study not just for me, but for you guys as well. Let's dive in and bring these scenes to life. I typically start by painting the eyes, and I use a lighter base color like ochre and lightly fill the eyeballs. And then I build up the details of them with darker shades like dark brown or black. And it can get a little bit messy, especially because I have a small sketch and oil pastels don't have a very sharp tip, as you know, but I clean it up with a black polychrome pencil. And I don't put too much pressure on the pencil, just enough to push the colors. After adding whites and grays for some highlights and shadows, I go for her skin. Usually, I build up the skin by starting with the eyelids and then fill other parts as well. I recommend to paint the skin and then going for the nose and lips, mostly because it's easier to blend the edges of those parts into the colors that you already have for the skin part. The paper that I'm using is a rough watercolor paper, which, if you see closely, has a little bit of soft texture, but I think it adds a nice vibe to the whole artwork. While it's not specifically made for oil pastels, I find that it holds the layers really well and adds a little bit of character to the final piece. I try to use the pastels mostly in one direction and layer them as I go, then soften them with color pencils in the same direction so that everything is nice and combined. There's a tip that I think is pretty helpful. I usually use two oil pastels. As you can see, some of them are the gallery and some of them are the pentel ones. I use gallery to put the main colors on the paper and build the layers since they are so soft, but then for blending those layers, I use pencil, which is much harder to kind of push the colors to be where I want them to be. You can use this method if you're struggling to blend very soft oil pastels like a gallery or maybe Sennelier. I've always admired artists who can capture facial expressions so effortlessly, and watching Emily really inspired me. From her curiosity to her moments of calmness, her face tells a story in every scene. I felt like I really connected with her and her expressions, especially in this piece, so I think I'm pretty happy with how her face turned out. One of the challenges that I used to face was painting larger areas, like the clothes and the background. This time I changed my approach with the oil pastels. Instead of applying a heavy pressure, I let the pastels glide smoothly over the paper. This gave me more room to blend and layer, making it much easier to mix colors and correct mistakes along the way. As I continued working on these scenes, I realized how much the color palette of the movie influenced my artistic choices. The balance between bold reds, soothing greens, and golden yellows creates a sense of harmony that's so unique to the movie. I try to honor that by staying true to the tones of the original scenes while trying to still add my own artistic way of seeing and painting. I also try to see the larger sections of my paintings, like the clothing or objects, as basic shapes. So I start by filling in the entire area with very light and medium color without adding any detail. This gives me an overall view of the section that I'm working on and helps me to visualize where the lights and shadows should go. As you can tell, I work in layers. It's better not to completely fill in an area with a solid color in just one go, because this leaves no room for the other colors to be layered on top, which can limit the variety of colors in your painting. Now, let's talk a little about why I chose this movie and what makes Emily so visually stunning, and then we go back to the painting. First of all, what made me want to watch this movie was, of course, its beautiful colors. The color palette of Emily is one of the most iconic aspects of the movie. The combination of reds, greens, and yellows creates this warm and nostalgic atmosphere that's impossible to forget. It's like stepping into a dream where every detail tells a story. The movie feels like a magical version of Paris. The reds are warm and full of love, like Emily's heart spilling into the world around her. I think the greens are calm and grounding, balancing out all the whimsy, while the yellows make everything glow with hope and possibility. It's like every scene is painted with care, turning the ordinary into something really extraordinary. Watching it made me want to see the magic in my own everyday life. Like maybe the world could be that beautiful if I looked at it in the right way. So I really wanted to show all of these things in this painting. That's why I tried to choose three different scenes with her in three different moods, so that I could capture her whole unique personality and view of life. This scene was a little more special to me. I don't really know, but it was just my favorite part. I think one of the reasons was the angle of her face, even though it was pretty challenging because of that. But it turned out to be very interesting. All the shadows of her face were in the right place, and as you can see, I use color pencils for some more detailed areas like her nose and around her face or neck. Also, I really liked her hair because there was a nice green light shining on her hair. It kind of gives a mysterious vibe to me, and her red dress was quite iconic to me. So I wanted to add it to spice the colors up, even though it's very bold and bright. I'll try to balance it with the green pillow and also the background. My very favorite part, besides her face, was the background. Since I had to paint some of it from my imagination, it was a little hard, but still it brought the three scenes together and really completed everything and kind of gave the really soul of the movie to this painting. I actually enjoyed painting these green parts because I think once again they bring everything together. Now that we have reached to the end, tell me about your favorite scene of this movie and feel free to ask any questions so that maybe I can help with that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more art videos and goodbye.